This Ask Misty is actually a really long question, and I really strongly urge people not to use more than one question when they post on my forum spring, because it gets very complex for a couple reasons. Number one, I might not see the second part and only answer the first part and not have the whole picture, but also, especially if you do it anonymously, it just gets lost. But I figured out that this one was a thread, and I think I was able to post it all together. Again, please don't do this, but I'm going to do this. And it's really long, so I'm going to have to read it out loud for you. Dear Misty, I'm with the man of my dreams. I love him to death, and we're engaged to be married as soon as it's legal for us gays. He's interested in a three-way because he says he loves pizza, but he can't eat it every day. Should I be offended by this way of thinking? He knows I'm uncomfortable with three-ways and always tells me we don't have to have one. But he says it in such a disappointed way that I find it hard to say no, and it makes me feel awful. He doesn't do this on purpose, though. The first time I had a three-way, I got so jealous seeing him touch another guy sexually. Is this normal? He always says no matter who we have added to our sexual relationship, he will never leave me, and he will never enjoy sex more with someone else than he will with me, because he says with us it's more than just physical, because we have a mental and emotional connection. He also says that sometimes when you have sex, often that connection can get lost or forgotten, and a three-way is just a way to appreciate that connection he and I have more. He doesn't always want a three-way, but he wants them, and I know he does. Could you please help me out? I have no idea how to take any of this. I feel so lucky to have found my life. I feel so lucky to have found the love of my life at this young age, but I don't know if adding a third to our relationship will be more damaging than helpful. Thank you for taking the time to reply to this, and I appreciate your advice that you can give to me. Wow. Okay, so my mind is all over the place with this. And I'm going to try to have a conversation with myself for you so you can understand all the different things that I'm going through in my head. Alright, so first and foremost, just like everything in life, there's always a positive and a negative to every situation. For example, you might love going to the mall, but you hate that it's really far and it's crowded full of people. But you still like going. Same with theme parks and things like that. You might love them but hate things about them. Now, your first question, should you be offended? Yes and no. The little Christian girl in me that wants to grow up and marry a pastor and become a pastor's wife says the second you open your relationship, it's announcing that it's over. Meaning, he's no longer satisfied with pizza, as you put it. Pizza's not doing it for him anymore. He needs to try other things. But on the other hand, I'm going to say I wouldn't be offended because he still wants pizza. Now he just wants a side of macaroni and cheese, or a side of ribs, or a side of whatever else he's craving, Italian or Chinese, for example. Now, as an adult, educated gay male who has been in the community for many years is going to tell you a different story than that little Christian girl. When I first moved to Florida, I never really heard of people cheating on each other, and I became really good friends with this gay couple, and we would go out, and sometimes I would go with one and not the other, and the one would always flirt and cheat on his boyfriend behind his back, and that really, really bothered me, and I ended up stopping being their friend because I didn't know how to be friends with both of them and not tell the other one that he was being cheated on every 5 seconds. And I lost all my respect for the first guy because he was a whore. And I lost all my respect for the first guy because he was a total whore. And I just didn't want to be around that. But since I've moved to Florida 12 years ago, I have come to find out that many, 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 many gay men have open relationships. Why? Does it work for them? My theory is this. They're happy with the partner. They like coming home to someone. They don't want to lose the house. They don't want to lose the mortgage. They don't want to lose their cars or whatever they've established for their life. But, just like your boyfriend, they want something else to eat besides pizza. Now, I know that sex is like a drug. And I know that when you meet someone new and you flirt and you have that, it's all exciting and fun. And it's addictive. And as humans, we always want to constantly be stimulated and find that new exciting something. That makes sense, right? But is this right for you? I don't know. Now, to continue on with your question. Now, you say that he does this with a big disappointing face, but he doesn't do it on purpose. That is a straight, bold lie. For example, if you're a little kid and you want to go to Walt Disney World, and you're like, Mom, please, can we go to Walt Disney World? And Mom's like, no, we can't go because we have to go to Grandma's house for she needs us to pick up her medicine and whatever. You might understand, but you don't have to like it. So you could go, oh, okay, I get it. We have to go to Grandma's because she needs our help. You get it. Meaning, you agree with your mother, but you don't have to like it. So therefore, when he does it with a really sad, disappointed face, he's doing this on purpose because he wants to manipulate you. He wants you to see that he's really disappointed. He wants to wear you down so that eventually you say yes. So it's not that he's not doing it on purpose, because he is. Now, also, as a gay adult man, I have met several couples that have had to open a relationship for personal reasons. For example, I'm not able to have sex with my partner anymore for whatever. This doesn't work, that doesn't work. Medications, surgeries, whatever have prevented their physical intimacy in that way. So, they've opened their relationship. But my advice to you is this. In a relationship is all about compromise. Everything. Do we go to your mom's house for Christmas or my mom's house for Christmas? Okay, fine, we can go to your mom's house for Christmas, but if we do, I want to fly first class because blah, 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 whatever reason. Now, to open your relationship, I would negotiate a couple things. For example, I highly recommend hiring prostitutes. Why, you ask? For many reasons. Number one, if you're going to go to a chiropractor, wouldn't you want to go to somebody that is an expert in this field? Right? It just makes sense. Number two, if you go to an escort, if you hire an escort to come to your house, he is going to be there for professional purposes. The benefits of this are, if you see him out in public next week when you're with your church friends or your co-workers or your whatever, and he comes up and says hi to you, he's not going to come up to say hi to you, is my point. If you hook it with some random trick, he's going to see you and be like, hey, how are you? And then your friends are going to be like, who's that? Then you have to awkwardly explain. If it's an escort and you happen to see each other in the bar, you're not going to be faced with that situation. Number two, if he is hired to come and take care of both your needs, that's what he's going to do. If you don't have someone that is there for both of you, human nature is going to say he might be more attracted to you than he is your partner, or vice versa. And the last thing you want is to have a three-way to help spice up your relationship with someone who is into your partner and not you. That would not only make you jealous, but that would really make you feel less of yourself and less worthy because you're not attractive or you're unwanted. And that would do more harm than good. But most importantly, I would do it with the escort because he's not going to try to break you up. He's not going to keep calling you. He's not going to keep contacting you. Hey, let's play again. Hey, are you guys available? What are you guys doing next weekend? Let's all hang out. And then try to pull one of you away from the other. That is not what you want at all. So, again, go with a professional. My last point for getting outside professional help is that you don't have to spend hours and hours communicating with them and sending them emails and text messages. Oh, are we compatible this? Do you like this? Do you like that? Let them send you a picture of my boyfriend. Do you like this? You know, you don't have to do all that process. You just hire someone and they come over and take care of business. They're in, they're out, bang. But if for some reason you can't afford part-time help in that department, I would make the stipulation, I personally, in my life, if I were to decide to open this relationship and have a three-way with someone, my rules would be simple. Number one, no kissing on the mouth. That's for me. I love kissing. Kissing is my favorite. Now, if you're my boyfriend and you want to spice it up, you're not allowed to do that to him. Because that's mine. My other rule would be, much like the prostitute situation and the uncomfortable awkwardness, I would say go out of town only. Meaning, find people that are 2 counties away or more. For example, I live in Fort Lauderdale. I'm not saying, let's go to Hollywood and find somebody. Duh, people in Hollywood always party in Fort Lauderdale. People in Miami always party in Fort Lauderdale. I would go to like Key West or, you know, Fort Myers or whatever. And my last stipulation would be this. You have to be involved in the selection process. Because, again, with the self-esteem issues of him finding somebody that's attracted to him, he brings them home for you, and what if he doesn't like you? What if he doesn't want you? What if he ignores you completely in the situation, and your boyfriend's getting his rocks off at your expense, and you just get even more jealous and more left out and more insecure, and that would be extremely unhelpful to your relationship, because now you're mad and jealous and hurt. So if you become active in the selection process, that could provide a unique bonding experience between the two of you, where you can be like, oh, I hope he does this really good, or maybe if we get him, he could do that. So your boyfriend can hear subconsciously things that you've not done with him that you want to do. But also, it could be like a game. It could be something that you do together. Whether it's picking out somebody on Rentboy.com, for example, or if you're at a bar in West Palm Beach and you pick out someone and say, hey. But if you do go out of town, go like an hour away, get a hotel, put an ad on Craigslist, go to the bar or whatever, and be like, hey, this also could benefit because it could be like a scheduled retreat for you. You take a day where you go, you know, 2 counties away or an hour away or 2 hours away, and you're like, let's put an ad on Craigslist and get a hotel and see what happens. You know, it could be fun. So in closing, the adult in me is not telling you that your relationship is over. But it has obviously come to, what's it called when you lose weight? A plateau. It needs something to spice it up. It needs something to extra charge it. And the problem is, if you say no, and this is advice I give to women all the time with bachelorettes that are, you know, coming to the shows and things like that, you have to please him. Because if you're not willing to do something that he wants, he's going to find somebody else. And I'm usually talking about oral sex and things like that. But if your husband has really expressed an interest in whatever, it happens to be three-way here, but if he expressed an interest in feet and he really wants to suck your toes or whatever it is, if you don't give him that desire, he is going to seek outside of the house. And he's going to find someone that will. And in my relationship, I want to be able to please my partner in every way. Meaning, I don't want him to go to the bathhouse. I don't want him to go to Craigslist. I don't want him to seek outside help for what I will find a way to do myself. Now, getting another person complicates issues, but again, compromise. Let your voice be heard. Help him make sure you're active part in the selection process so that you can also pick somebody you A, are attracted to, and or B, somebody that wants you back, and, you know, go forward and tread lightly. You know, you might try it a couple times and make sure that, you know, you're both compromising, and like any compromise, you're both getting something you want, and you might not be getting something you both want. It's always good and bad in each direction. That's a fair compromise, right? So he's getting the three-way, but you get, you know, your comfort zone taken care of. And who knows, you could really enjoy it. It could really spice up your sex life. It could really add an element to something you never knew. As long as you're both being taken care of, this could be healthy. So as a quick recap, if he really, really wants it and keeps bringing it up, obviously he really, really wants it. I would consider giving it to him, with your stipulations met, of course. And if you're both in agreement and you're both compromising and you're both into it, it could be something new and exciting and enjoyable for you. But make sure it's done healthy. You don't want, you know, some stalker kid from Grindr to try to, you know, break up your relationship, because that could get really messy. Anyways, I hope I can help.